beginninggenealogist.com. How are you doing? Today I want to talk about the need to take your time. And by that I mean that oftentimes I know that people will express a desire to get as much information as quickly as possible and to really, again, as you've heard me say, go back as far as you can, as fast as you can. And the first thing I want to say is slow down and take your time. That's particularly because many of the documents you're going to start to acquire are going to require you to be able to not just look at them, appreciate, see what you're learning about the family structure, but also to analyze data, to learn how to formulate new questions, and to be able to extract the story from the documents. I have known individuals who are just beginning the process who will say, gee, you know, I don't have family stories. I wish I did. Can I really even find anything about my family because I don't know any stories to tell? And then as they start to get documents and start to learn how to ask questions, then they realize a story is taking place or taking shape. Now, one of the things that's very important as you begin to acquire, not just to look at the documents, which of course I hope you're going to do, that are lying around the house that are in the family archives, but when you start to get those first vital records in the mail, when you make that first trip to the archives of the genealogy library and you start to look at those census records for the first time, there's some new questions you want to ask, looking at all the data, looking at not just who's in the house, but also looking at the occupation, the ages, the educational level, the literacy of the individuals. If you're looking at someone who's 70 years old, who's in a household, and that person can read or write, and this is 1920, let's say, then you're looking at a person who learned how to read or write in the 19th century, when formal education was not even mandated in the local area or mandated certainly on the statewide level. So you're looking at a person who has a story right there to tell. What was their incentive to learn how to read and write when perhaps it's possible that the odds may have been against them at that time period? Also, it's important to take a look when you're looking at a census record, for example. You've gotten the family, you're anxious to go back another 10 years, but slow down. Look at the neighbors. Look at the people whose names are above the names of your ancestors and below the names of your ancestors on that sheet. Those are individuals who were neighbors. Those are individuals who had some contact on a daily basis with your ancestors. Go back and ask a relative, were the names of this family living next door familiar to you or familiar to anyone? Did you ever hear people speak about these individuals? Take a look at the neighborhood. Zoom out a little bit more broadly and look at the pages before the page where your ancestor's name appeared and the pages after the page where your ancestor's name appeared on the document. Very, very useful data that you can glean. I'll share a story with you. Once I was researching a family from northern Mississippi, Tippett County, and was very excited. I had finally been able to locate information on my family. The surname was Barr in the household, and the surname was also Young, Y-O-U-N-G. And I was very excited because I was able to find this family in the 1900s and go back into the 1800s and had them fairly well documented to 1870. And became interested in a man who eventually became my great-grandfather, who married my grandmother, Harriet Young. Well, his name was Council Martin. And I said, you know, I guess I really should start to look for this great-grandfather in the years before he got married to my great-grandmother, Harriet. And of course I had them in the subsequent years, but I didn't have him in 1880. I didn't have him in 1870. And I had a marriage record. I know that they had married in 1882. So I said, okay, well, working from the possibility that they did not travel very far to meet each other, that they probably met each other in the same community, I began to conduct a line-by-line search for that family. And what I did, I was very, very surprised. I finally found that ancestor in the same county, in the same community, but the surprise was that he was living right next door. What had happened, I had taken a yellow highlighter, had zoomed in and highlighted the family, and had always, whenever I would pull out that census record and look, I would zoom in right on that family and would see, wow, just them, think of all the possibilities and the other stories to recreate. And then when I finally went looking for him, I had taken note of the household before and after and other people in the neighborhood. But that household, obviously I was looking for an African-American family. Well, the household right next door was a family that was not a black family. So I had skipped over it and had gone on by. But there he was as a house servant living in the household, and he was literally right next door. The point being to save yourself some time by taking your time and by analyzing as many of the pieces of information that you can find from what you already acquire. Look at your documents again and again and again, but don't be surprised that after you've looked at it 20 times, that 21st time, you might see a piece of information you had not seen those previous 20 times. Anyway, take your time, save yourself some time, and just enjoy the process. There's something to learn all the time from it. Anyway, that's it for today. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.